How about that Kraken win? We're over 500. We got the win streak going. 19 players have scored a goal now. Yanni gets on the board. Maddie gets another one. Geeky gets another one. Joey gets his first win as a Kraken. Like, there is so much I am sure we are going to talk about in this post-game live dance party. Oh my gosh, there is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. The PK kills off all 4 power plays for Calgary. Like, this game was one of the best games all year. Like, it might not have been like the cleanest, most technical win. That might have just been their last game against Pittsburgh. But like, holy cow, if that wasn't the most entertaining Kraken win we've seen so far this season, if not ever. Like, that game had everything, and I am so happy. Um, we picked up those 2 points against one of the 2 top teams of the division, one of the only 2 teams ahead of us in the division. Very important there. Oh man, that game was incredible. Thank you. Wow, already up to 71 people here in post game live presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall. Huge shout out to them. Let me know if any of you were out at Queen Anne Beer Hall watching this awesome game. I'm sure that building was absolutely electric for this one. I can only imagine what the atmosphere was like there. It is just going to be me tonight. RJ had a speaking engagement out at his old school, so he was off doing that and was unable to watch the game, so can't quite hop into the post game live. So just going to be me for now, but we're going to go ahead and kick it off with Jules with a super chat. Thank you so much, Jules. We beat my boyfriend's team. Let's go. He was yelling the whole time. Okay, that is. See, you're just adding more and more layers as to why this was an awesome game. That's some good stuff. I can only imagine what it was like to be watching that game together. I gotta think that was a fun place to be as well. Shoeshine. Okay, but seriously, how did we win that one? We won that one by not giving up, right? Like, this has been the thing that we've talked about through both the Kraken's wins and losses so far this season, has been just how relentless they are. They never give up. It doesn't matter what the deficit is, right? We saw this when they were down 5-1 against a couple teams earlier in the season. Doesn't matter how far they're down. This Kraken team refuses to give up, refuses to give in. And so we won with some clutch moment saves from Joey, some clutch goals, including an incredible one, the go-ahead goal from Maddie Beniers at, I called it an impossible angle on Twitter because it really was. Like, I thought for sure, I'm like, oh God, it's a 4-on-1 where they're just going to overpass this thing, way overthinking. What are we in for? This is going to be something to watch. But instead, just make the one pass over to Maddie. He corrals the puck and then just, I don't know. That's as close to what you'll ever call a fadeaway in hockey. You know what I mean? As he's kind of drifting away from the net and just roofs it from the steepest of angles. Absolute clutch goal from Maddie Beniers. That one's going to go on the highlight reel come Calder time at the end of the season for sure. So really happy about that one. But yeah, I mean, we kill off all the penalties. Can't say the faceoffs helped. And can't say we won shot differential in this one. That's something the Kraken had been doing. This one, Calgary took that. But you know what? Yanni gets that shorthanded goal. That was big. And they did a really good job of attacking the weaknesses of this Calgary Flames team from a system and structural standpoint. Saw that especially in the first period when you get that first goal from Carson Soucy and when they were really driving possession and getting out to a shot advantage, they were attacking the 2 sides of the slot there. And that's really the weak point of the Calgary Flames, is they can muddle things up in the middle. You're not going to beat them there, and you can't totally play to the perimeter all the time because they're really good at kind of reading your cycle and activating their wingers. But if you kind of take it down just on the sides of the slot there, I don't have my whiteboard here with me. That's where you can get at them. And that's what the Kraken did tonight. And credit to the coaching staff for exploiting that weakness and getting everybody going. Here and ready for smiles. Let's go. I'm here for a win and don't immediately have to go to bed from Madero's there. Sergeant Pickles missed everything from 3-2 onwards. Oh my gosh, Sergeant Pickles, you're going to have to watch a replay of this one. It is well worth it, my friend. Brian coming in with a super chat here, howling, panting, crying, puking, peeing, and that's just Afra. Oh my goodness. I could not be more proud to be a Kraken fan. So many studs, but Joey with the W. Well, thank you very much for that. And yeah, it's such a heck of a game. Such a heck of a game, Brian. Yeah, this is one where I think we're all going to be losing our minds just throughout this whole post game as we slowly come to the realization of what we just watched, because it was really awesome. That's Kraken hockey, baby, from Autumn. That was fun. Baby goalie Joey for the win from Madero. So let's talk about Joey, because Joey picks up his first ever win as a Kraken. He makes some huge saves, whether it's coming out and challenging guys and cutting off their angle and getting a big save that way, whether it's that one that goes off the post or crossbar and then it hits his back and then it's falling back towards the net and he's able to turn around and get his glove over it just in time before the Calgary Flames can get a stick on it and finish poking it home. Joey was exactly what the Kraken needed him to be tonight. Came up, made a ton of saves. Let's see exactly how many. Joey making 36 saves. 36 saves to get his first win as a Seattle Kraken. Needed every one of those saves too. It was a really good game for Joey. There was still some stuff with Joey, right? The rebounds are still a concern. Lots of rebounds, including 2 that popped right out of his glove. Got to be able to hold on to those and cover when you need to. But he does everything else that you'd want a goaltender to do. His positioning is on point. He's quick. He's really mobile when he's down in butterfly. Like, there's a lot of real positive stuff to Joey's game that, once you clean up just those few little things that unfortunately for him sometimes spiral into bigger things, he's going to be an excellent goaltender. And he was exactly what the Kraken needed tonight to win this game. He was solid when they needed him late, and that's what matters. Krakenhawk, was this the greatest, funnest win in Kraken history? I think so. Wow, what a spirited comeback and win. Great job, boys. I 100% agree with you, Krakenhawk. That was absolutely incredible. Pure perseverance and pure drive, baby, from Cody. So good. Definitely counted the team out down 2-4. What a performance to fight back. That's from Autumn. I'm telling you, that has been the hallmark of this team all season long. Doesn't matter what the deficit is. Doesn't matter if they know how they're going to get there. They never give up. And, we see why that matters and why that's important in this game, because I totally understand where you're coming from, Autumn. You allow those, 2 goals in 16 seconds, I believe, to kick off the third period. And it's just like, well, wheels have fallen off, Kraken hockey, whatever. That's just how it's going down. I totally see it. Like, I was kind of feeling that too, right? I think we all were, where we were all kind of having flashbacks to, oh, I've seen this show before. But you know what? They hung in there. They stayed strong. You eventually get the power play, get the strong goal off the power play. Great timeout by Dave Hackstall to call a timeout there, calm things down, stop the bleeding from getting any worse. And yeah, it was. I thought they handled that situation very appropriately, and it was able to, allow them to kill the momentum that Calgary was building there and get back into the game. You know what I mean? And that's what's important. CR Bud with a super chat. Thank you so much. You're in love with the team when they can tick you off so bad and totally adore them 5 minutes later. Exactly. That's what being a hockey fan, that's what being a sports fan is all about. It's all about those moments. And just, yes, that emotional attachment and that emotional roller coaster we get to go on each and every night with our teams. It's just special. It's the ultimate form of reality television. That's what I've always called sports, because it is the only true unscripted, anything can happen thing that we get to watch, and that's what makes it so special. And thank you for the super chat. I think you articulated it very well there. Joey for president. I mean, so much stuff in here. Maddie for president, or no, it was Joey for president. Maddie Beniers, man, pay him everything. Totally agree. This was such a good one. Jules, I brought Shorzy Beniers in at the second, and he stayed on my lap the rest of the game. Let's go Kraken. So there we go, Jules. There we go. Shorzy Beniers, let's go. Helping us get the win. Took everything we needed. That's the way it goes. Autumn pointing out 5 goals for the Kraken on 1.7 expected goals. Let's go. Yes, so we talked about Joey and him coming in and playing big as a backup and making some key saves. We talked about, kind of the limitations he has as well. But you also get the backup netminder for the Flames in this one in Vladar, and Vladar struggled with rebounds. He really struggled with his mobility back and forth across the crease, I thought, and struggled with at times going down too soon, I felt as well. So it was a rough game for Daniel Vladar as well. So I'm surprised just because of 5 goals on 1.7 expected is like a lot. But I'm also not surprised that they were able to get by with some shots that maybe don't normally go in. But that's good, and that's not to take anything away from any of the goals. These were all snipes. But what was it? Four in the last 5 for Matty Beniers, 3 in the last 4 for Morgan Geeky. That in itself is stuff that we should be talking about, because both of those guys, you're talking about your first line center and your fourth line center being on fire. And if that doesn't, kind of encapsulate where the Kraken are right now, where you've got all 4 lines rolling, you're getting depth scoring, your big time players are also getting it done for you. I mean, that's exactly what good hockey teams have, and the Kraken have it right now, and that should be talked about. And then the other thing, talking about depth scoring, Carson Soucy gets his first of the season, to bring the number up to 18 at that point, becomes the 6th Seattle defenseman to get a goal. That's absolutely mind-blowing to me, that you could have all 6 of your defensemen score a goal only 11 games into a season. Like, that's some crazy stuff. And then Yanni Gourde becomes the 19th member of the Kraken to get a goal just a few periods later. Again, you're talking 19 different players have scored for this team in the last 11 games. Forgetting everything that happened last season and the struggles that the Seattle Kraken had with scoring, that number is incredible for any hockey team, almost at any level of competition. Like, if you told me your Pee Wee team went out and did that, I'd be like, wow, like, good for them. They're getting the puck around, everybody's scoring, getting the depth involved. Like, that's really cool. Great for those kids, right? Like, it's just not something you hear of in hockey. The idea that you'd have that many players all getting on the score sheet this soon into a season, if ever, right? Like I don't know how many teams really get 19 throughout the course of a season, much less only 11 games into the season. So the Seattle Kraken offense is cooking with absolute gas. I mean, they're cooking with jet fuel right now. It's incredible. Love it so much. That's my goalie from Jen. Yes, it is. Oh, he played so well tonight. Love to see it. So happy for him to finally get that win too. Finally gets in a game, and he finally gets that W as a Kraken. Very, very happy for him. Autumn, games like that make you believe in the playoffs. Totally. This is exactly the kinds of things that it takes to become a playoff team. Like I said, just that endless scoring, the fact that anybody at any time on your team can get a goal for you is something you cannot buy, right? Like, you just cannot buy that kind of level of depth and everybody, feeling it and creating chances for themselves, getting open or creating turnovers, like with Gourde, right? Creates a turnover, skates it down, gets the breakaway. That's just stuff that doesn't happen all the time, and you have to go out there and make it happen, and that's what this team is doing. Tammy with the super chat: we may not have tons of superpower, but our depth makes us dangerous. Exactly, and how fitting that the team that is going to kill everyone with depth is the Seattle Kraken, because we all know where the Kraken lives, right? It's in the depths of the ocean. It's only fitting that that's what we do and what we use. All right, so there's just like a billion uh, chat messages in chat here. So definitely forgive me on this one for not being able to keep up with everybody. Let's see, we got Emmy. Woo, what a beauty. Does this mean we are above 500? It does indeed mean we are above 500 now. 5-4-2. Huge win for us in that regard. Absolutely love it. Jeremiah, whoa, Dylan, love the hold the hyperbole, excuse me. 3-goal lead is the new 2-goal lead in today's NHL. No lead is safe in hockey. Really glad the Kraken found a way to win in Calgary against a great team. Thank you very much for the super chat, Jeremiah. Absolutely love it and appreciate it. Always happy when you're in chat with us. Everybody check out Sports Beard there. Yeah, it's three. I mean, certainly with the Kraken right now, no lead is safe. That is for sure. And yeah, scoring's been on the rise last couple seasons in the NHL. Maybe we are getting to that point where that becomes the new thing. But for now, I'll just take it whenever the Kraken are involved in games like this that are super entertaining. Kraken are in it till the end. Keep us all excited. That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about. So I'm just picking random spots in chat at this point, everybody, because there's so many. Love the support, really, truly do. Coop Gord finally gets one to go. Buckle up, he's going on a tear now. I can feel it. I sure hope so. That would be really, really cool. Kind of get him activated. He was that last guy, right? Sergeant Pickles only watched until 3-2. Bear with me. Studs, response goals. Duds, response goals. Gotta say, for a number of shots faced, Decord did really well. My Davy Jones hat winner. I have to believe we're gonna start seeing tweets about Joey Decord getting that Davy Jones hat. I mean, he made the big time saves. You can make arguments for a bunch of members of the team really tonight, but the fact that he gets his first win, hung in there, makes 36 saves, it is definitely hard to argue against. I saw someone further up. Was it Cody had some studs and duds? Let me go find that, and we'll go ahead and do all of our studs and duds there. Got Sean with some studs and duds, Joey, Beniers, and Gord in the studs category, Schultz in the duds category. Schultz had a very bad game. Very bad game. I think there is 2 goals that I think could probably be attributed to Schultz in this one. So, we saw it last game, right? They do the D shuffle, bring Susie up to play with Schultz, put Alexiak down to play with Borgen. That's not how they decided to go into things with this one, and we were kind of right back to having that Alexiak Schultz pairing kind of just not look up to snuff. But definitely this one, I feel like Schultz was more of the reason for that tonight than Jamie Alexiak. How about that fight for Jamie Alexiak against Zadorov? Just what, 6'7" against 6'6", both about 250. Like, that was a big time heavyweight fight. That was some old school pay-per-view stuff right there. Yeah, it was a very rough night for Schultzy there. Kraken Hawk, penalty kill, penalty kill, penalty kill. That saved us and led the Kraken to win this game. It really did. The Kraken penalty kill looked really, really good. I put out that tweet, I think after the first kill. They did an excellent job passing off coverages in the defensive zone, and that allows them, one, to kind of catch their breath after they've been like kind of wild, whoever that +1 is in that triangle +1 that we talked about in that video from last week. Whoever that player is, they did a really good job of, whenever it was kind of crossing the zone, the next man up was always taking that spot so that +1 can slide into the top of the triangle and catch their breath. And I thought they did a very good job with that. They did an excellent job pressuring, right? Yanni gets that first goal. That's a shorthanded goal because he creates a turnover. He's being aggressive. He's not letting Calgary leave their own zone. Right? He's pestering them to the point where they are incapable of leaving their own zone without turning the puck over and giving him a breakaway. That is all what you want to see from the PK. And then obviously Joey cleaning up anything that gets past him. It was excellent night. This is going to help their overall percentage and ranking in the league a lot. We'll see exactly how much in a little bit. I'm sorry, you guys all know me. I'm not capable of doing that level of math off the top of my head. But I got to think that it's going to make a big difference there. CR Bud with another super chat tonight. Thank you so much. Team is scoring so much better. If they can only avoid the defensive lapses portions of the game, they will be dangerous. 100% agree. That's the only thing kind of holding this team back at the moment. Sometimes, goaltending can still be a little rough for them, but yeah, it is just kind of those defensive breakdowns. We saw a couple more of those tonight, just miscues, whether it's a bad pass or a bad read in your own defensive zone, or just letting a guy get past you, right? you make a bad call about who to try to cover net front or something like that, and then the next thing you know, the puck's in the back of your net. That is still the thing that I think the team needs to work on the most outside of face-offs. Face-offs definitely still a problem, but yes, definitely agree with you there. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about it. Face-offs, 39%. Like, it's bad, man. Like, it's really bad. I just don't know what the answer is to fixing this face-off problem, and it's so odd that it's just been so prevalent now, right? I mean, is this what, 1 in 11 games they've actually been above 50%? They were, I believe, worst in the league going into this game. I gotta think they'll stay that way with the 39% tonight. Matty Beniers, 31%. Alexander Wenberg, 40%. Yanni Gord, 38%. Geeky stepped it up, got 50% tonight. So he had really been struggling the last couple games. That's good to see there. But it, it, I just, there is no easy fix. Otherwise, they would have implemented it by now, I have to assume. But it's tough. It's very, very tough. I don't know what they're going to do to try to fix this face-off problem outside of, yeah, just every practice is nothing but face-offs, but even then, I don't know. They're gonna have to figure some things out. I guess the guys are just gonna have to get a little more creative with each other. You know what I mean? Just try to find something. We talked last post game live about Sidney Crosby's kind of unique style of winning faceoffs and his unique approach to faceoffs. Maybe, Maddie just needs to kind of find something like that for himself. Yeah, and just trial and error this thing. At this point, you might as well try anything because it's not like you're doing that great. You know what I mean? It's not like you're going to be throwing away a 50% win rate if you do. So I guess that's the thing I would I would say. Like, that's all I've got. Here are Cody's studs. I knew I had seen him while jumping all around in chat at some point. So Cody's got the studs, Maddie, Yanni, and the PK unit duds, passing games, whiffs, and Schultze there. Yeah, I think that was, I think you nailed it there. Just like everybody, I think we're all kind of on the same page in this one. Really good night for those guys, Yanni, Maddie, Joey, of course. I think that's the one that I'd add in there. Striatic, look, Schultz and Alexiak caused the penalty. Yanni got the shorthanded goal on. Basically, they galaxy brained assessed it, assisted, excuse me, on it, in my opinion. I like trying to find the silver lining there, Striatic. That is definitely some creative thinking when it comes to looking at that situation. I will agree with you on that much. Yeah, it's just, oof. They're just struggling. They're just struggling. There's no way around that. Michael, well, Hack's job is safe for a while now, and I'm kind of okay with it for now. Glad to see that. Glad to hear it, Michael. Like I said, I think Hackstall, he coached a pretty good game tonight. The one exception is that challenge. All right, so we're 23 minutes into post game live here, presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall. I think we can talk about one of the more negative moments of the game, despite all the excitement everywhere else, and that, of course, was that terrible challenge, right? So you get the Nazem Kadri goal there, that's going to put Calgary up 2-1. Hackstall and whoever they have video reviewing, kind of messages down to Hackstall. Hackstall, I'm sure, is looking at the tablets, and they see that little bit of contact between Nazem Kadri and Joey Decord as Kadri's kind of skating right there through like the top of the crease, or right at the top of the crease there, that he makes the briefest bit of contact with Joey on his way to going and scoring that goal. And so Seattle decides to challenge it. And I understand the logic there, because you're going to be down by 1 now, right? This is a go-ahead goal for Calgary. You've been just getting pummeled the entire first half of that second period. I don't know what the shot disadvantage was at that point, but literally like a minute or so later, it's 16-2. So it can't have been good. And so I understand you wanting to challenge that, but the bottom line is there was never enough to challenge that goal. Like, the contact made is so slight and small, and certainly not enough to have interfered with Joey to the point where Joey's incapable of resetting and being able to make a save on that Kadri goal. That's just a goal that's going to happen, right? Like, that was just kind of destined to happen. And so that was rough, because not only do you lose the challenge, But when you lose a challenge in the NHL, when you lose a coach's challenge, you then on the PK, that becomes a penalty, a delay of game penalty. So not only like I understand you were trying to halt the Flames' momentum, try to get something going for your team, but instead you just hand the Flames even more momentum by giving them a power play coming off of just scoring a go-ahead goal, and that's just something you can't really do. So love the timeout usage in the third period. It totally worked. It had that effect. It halted the Flames, completely dead stop, gets you going, and everything was solid there. But that challenge was brutal. And I think whatever system the Kraken have in place for that kind of needs to be looked at after this one. Just kind of figure out exactly like, okay, how much do we really need to see before we go for that next time, because it was rough. And I do know, the league has been and the officials have been a little bit more lenient this year. They've called some that as goaltender interference, that some people like Elliot Freeman and Merrick were just talking about this on their latest 32 thoughts about that issue specifically, that the league is kind of, they're calling goaltender interference off of these reviews maybe a little bit more than some people would like. So I could see then maybe like being like, well, okay, maybe they're trending in this direction, but this one was, there was really nothing there. So um, that's that's the one I think rough moment when it came to Dave Hacksaw tonight. Otherwise, love keeping the lineup the way it was. Love, shifted some things around a little bit there at the end of the second period. But otherwise, everybody was just rolling. You're feeling it when you're getting goals from just, three of your four lines. There's nothing more that you can do at that point. Uh, Coop, this has to be our first win over Calgary, right? That's an interesting question. I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. No, we beat them once last year, right? I'm pretty sure we went 1-1 against them last year. We beat them in Calgary, that first game in Calgary, right? I feel like that happened. Somebody look it up and let us know. Jules with another super chat. Thank you so much, Jules. Very much appreciated. Hey guys, there's 120 of us in chat. How about liking the stream and share it among fans to have our community grow? Thank you so much, Jules, for that message. Making me read that, get my attention there for that. Because yes, I mean, it's been up in the 120s now for a while. I think that is a new record for an ECH post game live show. So thank you so much, everybody who's been here for this one. And yes, like the stream. Thank you. There it is. Like the stream, share it with friends. Very much appreciate that. And then since I'm down here at the bottom of the chat, everyone's saying nope, it's their first non-preseason win. All right, I'm wrong. I remember one of them though was that it was a really close game last year. Like it was a game that we weren't supposed to, like it wasn't supposed to be close and we hung in there. I remember something like that. That's what I think gave me the false impression of the win, I guess. Lindsey Dillon gaslighting us about beating the Flames. LMAO, I love it. I'll try it. Why not? Speak it into existence, right? That's what we've been kind of talking about these last couple of post-game lives. It's been working everywhere else. We got this win, right? Let's see. Impressed. Literally 5 a.m. in Germany here. Can't wait to see the highlights in a couple minutes. You're going to love this one. Assuming you're a Kraken fan and not a Calgary Flames fan in chat here, you're going to absolutely love this one. Daryl, again, we're above 500. Like, I know that's I think the thing that is so hard to like wrap our heads around. I mean, we're talking win streak, a bit above 500. Again, still we're still getting power play goals. We're getting depth scoring. Just the idea that we could score 5 goals in a game, right? Like these are all such new and exciting like ground for the Kraken to be covering for us this year. It's really, really awesome to be in a playoff spot for this long. Like these were pipe dreams for us last season. Really, really love it. Joey, when we have a solid penalty kill, we usually win. Agreed. The games that the PK has been like working at 100%, the Kraken have kind of pulled those games out, because when, let's be real, right? When your two struggles winning games have been defensive miscues and at times leaky goaltending, penalty kills become all that much more important for you, right? Like the power plays for opposing teams just serve to highlight those two deficiencies on your team. And so anytime that they're able to kill those off, build momentum moving forward 5-on-5. I think that's really, really huge for this team, and we've been seeing it so far this season. So I don't know if it's 100% there. Now I'm all gun shy after the Flames thing, but it has been a very, very important thing. Kyle, I feel like the difference between this year and last is the confidence the boys have in their offense gives them belief in those moments that they can come back. I agree with that. And I think that that's something that they built over the preseason and through training camp because they've kind of had this since day one. And and how could you not, right? You bring in an Andre Burakovsky, you bring in an Oliver Bjorkstrand, you're getting back guys like Brandon Tanev, who was off to a really hot goals start last season. You're getting him back from injury. You've got Matty Beniers now here full time. So I understand where that confidence would come from, and I think that it's it's proving to be very warranted. The fact that you're getting all of your defensemen involved in scoring is something I don't know that anybody could have expected, at least not this early in a season. But it is one of those things. So much of hockey and so much of sports, right, are just it's that snowball effect, good and bad. We've seen it on the bad side, being Kraken fans all through last season and even at times this season in certain games. But when it comes to scoring and just being a hot offense and everybody's feeling it and everybody's getting those bounces and everybody's contributing, your defensemen are activating offensively the way we saw like Susie do tonight to get his first goal. That is all built around confidence, and that's all the confidence that they've accumulated over the last couple weeks really since I guess the Hurricanes game was the last like really brutal game. I know that Chicago game wasn't very good either, but so pick one of those two games. But ever since then, I mean, yes, you have the loss to Vancouver in there, but it wasn't like a bad loss. Like that was just we lost. Yeah, it sucked. It was to a rival, and they're a winless team, but it was just a straight up loss. You lose hockey games; it just happens. And so you still scored, I believe, 4. Right? That was 5-4 game, I think. And so the offense was still working. And so long-winded answer there, Kyle, to your statement. It wasn't even totally a question, but yes, I 100% agree with you, Kyle, that it's the confidence that they have in the offense, and it's kind of feeding it to keep it going, and I love to see it. Brian, Geeky seems to have a firm grasp of what his job is. Yes, still no idea what he was doing in that brief press conference there a little while ago. But yeah, 3 goals in 4 games. Pretty good understanding. Assuming they told him to go out there and score, then he's got it down, right? I guess we don't know for sure, right? Sergio, it's a historic win in many ways. Kraken beat Flames for the first time in short history. Decord first victory. What did I miss? I don't know that you missed any other first other than the 19. I mean, they're the first team to have 19 players score a goal for them this season. Pardon me. It's just it's so good, so good. Um, Jules, I'm hoping that since Gord got his first goal of the season, that means he can get more in the upcoming games. I think he will. I think we're going to start seeing him waking up a little. I mean, his line's been active and they've been doing well. He just hasn't necessarily been on the score sheet himself, and that's fine. That's kind of who Yanni Gord is as a player, anyway, right? Like that was his job for Tampa during those cup runs he was a part of. His job was more so to kind of slow things down for the other team, kind of shut down opposing teams' top lines, kind of be that pesky two-way player. Just keep it in the opposing team's zone. Don't necessarily have to score. We've got guys that can do that, but let's make sure nothing bad happens going back the other way. And so Gord's been playing that way this year. But yeah, it's always nice when he can score, and we get to see that big old smile that he has. It is certainly something special. Kraken Hawk, what do you think the turning point was? The Gord shorthanded goal or the Decord kick save during the remaining second of the Flames power play? To be honest, I think it was less directly the timeout that Hackstall took earlier in the third. I think that was really important as far as stopping that Flames snowball that was going the other way against you. Otherwise, I think probably it was the Daniel Sprong power play goal. I know it's not as again, maybe directly related to things, but getting that goal to make it 4-3, you pull within 1, and you've still got over half of the third period left. I think that was really important, and I think it was important to score on the power play because you were 0 for 3 at that point, and so you're probably thinking like, "Oh," you know what I mean? Like, the confidence maybe isn't there when it comes to your power play. You're still it's been a while since you've scored, and let's see, the Geeky goal was kind of like a unique situation where he just had an absolute fabulous look at Vladar and was able to beat him. But you might have been thinking like, okay, we're kind of struggling to score in more tough situations as far as getting a cycle going in the offensive zone, being able to create our own play. Right, that hadn't happened for any goal yet for the Kraken, but you get that Daniel Sprong power play goal, and I think that's what did it because now you're within one. You smell blood in the water, all systems go, everybody's moving that much more because you can see it, right? It's right there, it's totally attainable now. And so for me, I think probably if it's not the timeout, it's the Daniel Sprong power play goal. That would be my answer there. But I think, ultimately, whenever you come back from a multi-goal deficit and you win in regulation too, because that's the other aspect of all this we haven't totally talked about is I got to think a lot of us were just being like, okay, we can kind of get to overtime. Like that's a pretty big win, right? Fight back from the deficit, get to overtime. That's not bad. But to be able to win in regulation, it's lots of things adding up and lots of things building that snowball for you that just becomes too much for a Calgary team to stop tonight. And that's what was, in my opinion, what was going on. Stratic, Morgan Geeky's goal scoring lately. How can you even think about healthy scratching that guy? I don't think Dave Hackstall is at all. Because why would you? He's playing really well. I mean, the only thing you could have said before this game was the face-off percentage, but then as we read off 50% tonight. So even that's coming around for him, and that's probably just because he's getting more reps, right? It's been steadily growing as he's gotten more and more consecutive games. So it's entirely possible all his face-off struggles were just because he was kind of in and out of the lineup, and now he's just getting back where it is. I just think I think that's probably what it is there. Sean here asking a really good question. On the failed video review where Eberle served the minor penalty, do those 2 minutes count towards Eberle's player stats? They do not. That's a bench, or I'm assuming they listed as like a bench penalty. Let me see here. In the second delay of game, unsuccessful challenge served by Jordan Eberle. So yeah, I know it doesn't show up for Jordan Eberle. It's just given to, I guess, unsuccessful challenge. That player, man, lots of pims for them. Yeah, so that's the answer to that. Good question though. That's a very good question. Coop, poor Shane Wright trying to break the roster with geeky scoring and being relied on for all the critical face-offs. Yep. No win situation. Check out the video we just did. Yeah, I feel like we've talked about all angles of it at this point, but yeah, it's rough. And yeah, I mean things just aren't getting easier as the Kraken win games like tonight. Doesn't make the situation any easier. I think Lindsay pointed out somewhere else that Kingston's played 12 games now so far this season. So there's that too. Just throwing that out there. Fear our depth, definitely. Rebecca, I'd also like to raise a glass to two healthy Tanevs on one sheet of ice. They said it couldn't be done. That is right. I mean, that was something we talked about in the lead up to today. All on Twitter, we were talking about that. Well, one of the things a lot of us were really looking forward to was the battle of the Tanevs, right? It was Joey getting his first game into the season and the battle of the Tanevs. And then they were out there and the game just became so dramatic in its own right that we haven't even touched on that yet. So thank you for bringing it up, Rebecca. Yeah, it's something we were denied last season. Finally got to see it this year. I don't know if like any videos were posted from warm-ups, if they interacted at all. I haven't seen anything like that. I hope it's out there. I hope we get to see some of that stuff. But as far as on the ice, I don't remember them ever really coming into contact with each other or any kind of fun brother against brother moments in this one. Kind of both of them more quiet games too. As I was thinking about it, right? Like this might have been the most quiet Brandon Tanev game of the season. Like I'm not saying he was bad, just wasn't, he wasn't the spark this go around like he so often is, for the Kraken. And so I think that was kind of the case there. And then, yeah, for Chris, I don't remember seeing him or hearing his name said by Forsland all that often either. So kind of interesting how the everything shifted. Kraken Hawk, I think this means Wright is going back to the OHL. Donato, Geeky, and Sprong are making it hard to keep themselves out of the lineup. Very much agree. Obviously, at some point, you're getting Jonas Donskoy back as well. That's going to only further complicate the overall situation. The fact that he's not in the OHL at this point, again, it kind of points to only two things. One, you either don't want to send him to Kingston specifically, in which case I got to think Ron Francis could have had something happen there by now, right? He could have kind of worked his network and gotten something to happen. Or, I mean, even just telling Kingston, look, we're not going to send him back to you guys, but if you trade him to one of, these 5 teams, we'll make it happen. And then, we'll for sure send him down. And then Kingston can go to those 5 teams and say, like, look, they said they'd do it if we make something happen here. So it's either that or it's you really just want to have him in Seattle and you want him to be around everybody and you want him to be around the team, and you're kind of, you're kind of sacrificing his game development for his professional development and personal development. And I don't know that a team would do that though for a prospect. Like I don't know that trade-off is worth it, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so it's just weird. It's just weird at this point. Forget about it being a no-win situation. It's just weird. Lindsay, Coyotes and Panthers tied after 2. How about that? Mullet Arena. I want to go to a game there so bad. You all know I've been on that thing, but apparently going to talk about it in this week's Red Glare podcast or Patreon exclusive podcast. Link in the description below if you want to check it out. We're definitely going to be talking about it because it sounds like from those first couple games, everybody's saying it's some pretty good ice they got going on in the desert there. So very curious to dig into all that kind of stuff. Joey, Kraken 6 points out of first place. Yeah, I'm gonna go into the standings here because I know Kraken were kind of rocking that second wild card spot. I believe it was earlier. Now up to third in the division. Through 11 games, 12 points. That 5-4-2 record. Oh, I love seeing that. 545 points percentage, everybody. Oh, can you believe it? So good. And the even goal differential, I think that's not getting talked about enough either. The fact that even goal differential, we would have never thought that one going into last year, coming out of last year, I should say, either. So really solid win for them. Medeiros with the super chat. Thank you, Medeiros. Studs, Joey, okay, Sprong, Captain Pumpkin. I wonder who you're referring to there. Duds, whiffs, wrong Tanev with a point. The D-man who allowed that breakaway Joey had to leave the crease for. That one, yeah, Joey had to come out and make a play. Totally understand that. I don't remember who that was off the top of my head either. But I think you got some good studs and duds there. Definitely, yeah. Yanni getting that first point. I know. Let's see. Let's go back up to see where we should come in here. Let's see. Becca, when Gord gets an unassisted shorty, he gives all the credit to his teammates. When the team loses, he takes personal responsibility for what he did wrong. Team player. 1000%. Yanni Gord is one of the best examples in the NHL of a team player. Absolutely just incredible personality all the way around, always having that smile on his face, always getting things done in that regard. He's just so good in all of that. I'm just so happy to have him around and so happy to have him in the locker room and everything. And then apologies, Cody, I missed this super chat here. If Shane is in the lineup, does this comeback happen? Impossible to know. There is a parallel universe somewhere in the multiverse where that does happen. I can guarantee that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's certainly possible. I think the way that this team has been playing overall, we know he was in lineups where the team had that fight and they weren't giving up and they were still out there trying and pushing even in worse circumstances than this. So I want to say that it's certainly possible because I just think that's who this Kraken team is. They have that depth scoring. They have all of those pieces. The offense is just rolling. Joey was gonna make saves. You know what I mean? So I want to say that I think it could have still happened. Yes, if that counts. I'm not gonna give you a definitive because it's kind of impossible, but um, yeah, I think it really could have. Lindsay, what game do you think we see Shane Wright draw back into the lineup? Do you scratch? Who do you scratch for him, or is it all just game to game depending on how the fourth line plays? It might take just a bad game from the fourth line, in which case you then take that as the opportunity to do it. I don't know. Do you do it on this road trip? You got Minnesota and Pittsburgh left. They're not like great games. Talked about it with someone earlier today. Maybe Pittsburgh, just because like, yeah, it's a tough matchup, but we just kind of saw that they don't have the depth, right? If he's going to be going up against their like third, fourth lines, they don't really have the depth there that's super scary. And you don't have to worry about him also getting beat up physically against Pittsburgh, like going up against a Crosby or Malkin. That's not their style, right? They're just gonna, you know, smoke him because he's an 18-year-old rookie and they're two of the best to ever do it. So that's the worry there. But you don't have to worry about them trying to like, you know, just physically abuse him in some way. So I think Pittsburgh could be a good spot for it. Minnesota, they would physically abuse them, right? They're a big, strong team. Talked about it last year. Their practice was, or their morning skate was the most physical morning skate I'd ever seen. They were like basically out there fighting each other all the time. They're really, really strong and big. Like everybody on that team is just massive. So I would not start him against Minnesota. However, I think Pittsburgh, if you're going to do it on this road trip, Pittsburgh makes the most sense. So we'll see. But to be honest, the way everybody's playing right now, I don't think you bring him out. I think you can afford Geeky at this point a bad game. I don't think you have to pull him out after one bad game, just given how well he's performed through so many other ones at this point. So that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to that. Let's see. Um, yeah, see, Sean, cracking so deep, no ice time for Shane Wright. Kudos to Geeky for earning his ice time with consistent, solid performance. Yeah, I mean, the best thing to ever happen to Morgan Geeky was Shane Wright coming to town, right? Because this is not the same Morgan Geeky that we saw last year. This was the same. This is the Morgan Geeky we were all hoping for through so much of last year, right? I mean, think back to the beginning of the season. They had such big plans for him. He was like the trigger man for their power play to start last season, and then things just slowly kind of fell off for him. So really happy that he's back and that he's playing the way we all, you know, dreamed or wanted him to play back, going back to last off season. But he's, yeah, I mean, the best thing to happen for him is to have this competition, have somebody who is challenging him. It has clearly lit a fire and it's awakened something within Morgan Geeky. It's lit in that Pizza Hut brick oven. However, Pizza Hut, they probably just use a machine, not a brick oven. But whatever, however Pizza Hut makes pizzas, whatever oven it is, that pilot light, it is now within Morgan Geeky, and he's just getting things done. Put that rambling of a sentence on a shirt. Sell it with the Geeky Squad shirts. Let's go. Okay. So Braun, Dylan, I recently read the idea that we sat Borgen, and that obviously paid off with how well he's playing. Why does having Wright do the same have to be such a crime? More than one way to learn. Yes. So that there is definitely something to be said for that, because we saw this last year with Borgen, right? We were all free will Borgen, and all of that. We were trying to get that hashtag started earlier on in the season, and we can all kind of agree that at this point, looking at it now, Will Borgen is a different player than he was last year. Sitting for that year, learning everything, but still being around the team, practicing in an NHL facility against NHL players each and every night, being able to watch and learn the game from the press bridge, and you know, just do all of those things really helped his game mature, and it seems to have built a lot of confidence now that he has a regular spot in the lineup. I don't know that, you know, we've talked about everybody's kind of playing with confidence. The offense has a lot of confidence so far this season. I don't know that anybody has taken more of a leap when it comes to how much confidence that they have this season over last than Will Borgen. He's out there, he's throwing his body around, he's winning every single board battle that he goes into. He's stepping up and activating on defense. They literally drew up a play to utilize his shot for this season, and that I don't know that any of those things happens if he isn't kind of sat through last season. So I do think that it's an intriguing thing. The difference is Will Borgen had already been an NHLer at that point, and he was coming off a season in which it was mostly wiped out due to a gruesome injury. And so it's slightly different. He's also on defense. They take longer to mature just in general anyway. So I don't know that it applies to a superstar prospect, top prospect, projected for 4 years to be the top pick of an NHL draft. I think that those outside pressures are what's making this more of a different situation. And then just age. What was Will Borgen last year? He was probably 22. If I had to guess off the top of my head, let me get to the roster here. Stall for time, stall for time. He was born in 96, so he's 2 years younger than me. So he's 25 right now, so he must be, he's a December baby. So he's like 26 this season. He was 25 last year. That's very different. 24, 25 last year. That's hugely different than 18. At 18, there's still so much development that can happen just on the mental side of things when it comes to playing hockey, that I think you really do want to get your 18-year-old just as many minutes we talked about it. OHL might not be the best for growing his game, but at this point, it would be better than nothing. I think you can afford to sit an older player. It's not going to affect their confidence as much. They can, they're just more emotionally mature. They're more physically mature, right? You're more mentally mature at 25 than you are at 18. I think any of us who have passed both of those ages can agree on that. And so I think those things also come into it, because you don't want to wreck Shane's confidence either, and have him miss another season of hockey, because he did miss an OHL season as well, right? Due to COVID. He had a whole year of his development already wiped out. The last thing you do is want to do that again. And so I think that's the overall difference. But yes, I understand the concept, and I do agree with it. And I think that in Will Borgen's case, it paid off with flying colors. But just when it comes to someone so young like Shane Wright is, I think there is a difference there, and I don't think that repeating it will be the same. Let's see. Striatic, I do think the defense needs a rework to protect the goalies more. Maybe a reshuffle, maybe a new guy. Can't dig out of these holes every time, and there are problems on D. I just still want to see the shuffle. Like just keep Susie with Schultz and keep Alexiak with Borgen for a whole game. Like let's just start a game, and then let's see how it happens, right? Let them play together for a full game. That's what I would do. That just please, just give me that. Give me that, please. Let's see, where are we here? Coming up late. Hey, RJ's in chat down here. Love to see everyone in chat. And yes, I like the stream. Thank you, RJ. Helping the cause. Let's see. Where should we go? Definitely going to a game of Mullet Arena this season from Jeremiah there. I know. So happy about that. I'm really excited about it. I think that's really fun. Let's see. Lindsay, Shane getting the Borgen press box treatment. I'm happy how it worked out with Billy Borgs, but don't know if it'll work the same for Shane. Yeah, we just kind of talked about that one. Tim Owen Evans, Donskoy is a tough call. Really need him to play and look at least decent so they can trade him. Yeah, I mean, this is the last year of his contract. I'm pretty sure. It's going to be interesting just to see where he slots in, because where do you even slot him in? Donato's playing well on the wing. Sprong's been playing well on the wing. I don't know where he comes in and how much he can go. Carson Kuhlman's played well, right? Like all this is because Carson Kuhlman made one mistake, just one mistake. And Kuhlman's now been on the bench for 2 games, but he was playing really well before this too. So Donskoy is going to kind of, I don't want to say he's going to mess a lot of things up, but he's going to certainly complicate what's already an overly complicated situation. Just because, I mean, on its face, you have to then just send somebody down somewhere, whether it's Shane goes back to the OHL, or Shane Wright goes back to the OHL, or it's someone getting waived to go down to the minors. Like there's no way around it. Someone will have to be bumped for Donskoy, and then somebody's going to also have to get bumped out of the lineup for Donskoy. So it's a tough situation there for Donskoy. But yeah, last year of his contract, got to think if he plays well, you can move him at the deadline. But who knows where the Kraken are going to be come deadline time? I mean, sitting in the playoff spot now, I haven't seen anything from this team that's going to say they're going to, not be in the similar situation a month, 2 months from now, right? The way they're playing, they can beat anybody. So, um, I still feel pretty solid about all this. All right. So apparently I missed a second, of the $2 super chats. Yeah. So in StreamYard, it doesn't notify me when those go through. So apologies to Cody earlier for that one. Um, and apologies to you, Braun. I see it now here. Thank you so much for the super chat, Braun. Thanks for explaining that, Dylan. Truly appreciate it. You're very welcome. And it was a very good question. I'm glad that I was able to address it. And yeah, thank you for asking it, because I think it's a really, really solid and good one. And that's not by the way, a put down on the $2 super chats, everybody. Like I'm not trying to say that at all. That's a StreamYard problem. I don't like that StreamYard doesn't do that. I want to make sure I get to those. Obviously, you're all very, very generous, and we both appreciate that so much. Really do. Jules also here with another super chat. In high school, my coaches would bench me after every goal I made since it wasn't to their standards. Being sat can kill your confidence easily. It's true. It's brutal. There's nothing worse. And that's a horrible situation you found yourself in there, Jules. Absolutely brutal. Yeah. And so that's my biggest concern with Shane Wright. I think that's probably RJ's biggest concern after our talk and the video we put out, um, coming out of the deep dive that we just did this week, is you don't want to ruin his confidence. I know some people are worried about, like, oh, you're ruining the relationship with him and the team. I don't think that's a problem we have to worry about at this point. I really don't. I think the much bigger problem is that this is a guy who missed a whole year of development at the OHL level. He's now missing more development, and he's only 18, and you're just, you're hurting his confidence, all of those things. I just think that's how it's at. Excuse me while I take a quick Gatorade break, everybody. Talking for 56 minutes now. There we go. And as we all know, I had to go with that lemon lime Gatorade to get through the solo post game live, right? Uh, um, let's see. We got one from Al here, Oiler fan here. Great win, Seattle. This is the kind of win that stays with a team for a while. Plus, who made Calgary upset? All's well in the universe. Totally, totally. Thank you for being here. By the way, Sergeant Pickles with the super chat. Wait, is this Kraken hockey, baby? It really is. Depth scoring, not giving up, regardless of what the opposing team's lead is at the time. No matter how much you're down, not giving up and fighting back, finding ways to win, getting everybody involved offensively, getting a power play goal when you need one. That has become what Kraken hockey is. And like I said a little while ago, I don't see a reason for that to change anytime soon. And assuming it doesn't change, this team's going to be competitive until very, very late in the season, and you never know what's going to happen at that point. You just never know. So a lot of games left. A lot of hopefully fun games there. Edward with a super chat here. $2 is the John Cena of super chats. There you go. Very good one there, Edward. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Dylan JBC Omega, good way to kick off November. Totally. First day of November, everybody. Happy November. Yes, Maddie turns 20 in just a couple days. We're gonna have to make sure we all celebrate that one together. And yes, it's a good one. I think I should probably give my voice a rest at this point. I really appreciate everybody being here through this post game live. It's been a lot of fun. We've been at over 100 basically throughout this whole thing. Fantastic win for the Kraken. I see something here from Rebecca. Wait, is Afra here? Afra is here. Let me see if she went to the vet like 2 hours before the game started. We had to kind of rush back. You want to say hi? Can you come say hi? Come here. Come here. Come on, you can do it. She got a couple shots, so she's a little groggy about things. But, well, yes, she wants to say hi. She wants to say hi. Here she is. Try to get that going. There we go. Now the post-game live can be complete. The dance party is complete. We got Dog Skoy in here. Thank you so much, everybody, for making this a really, really awesome post-game live. RJ will be back with us next time. Don't worry. Glad to see him in chat here for a little bit. And yeah, thank you for all the super chats, for everything. Let me see. Let me make sure I didn't miss any along the way. It looks like I got them all. Sorry, I got to get to the mic there, Afra. Yeah, so that's going to do it for this one. Amazing Kraken win. 19 Kraken players with goals now. Yanni gets his first of the season. I know. All right. You're not feeling good. I know. I'm sorry. There you go. And yeah, just absolutely loving Kraken hockey right now, everybody. I'm sure you all are as well. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the super chats one more time. And we'll see you all after the next game against Minnesota. See ya.